Hello everybody and welcome to another Ford Crown Victoria video. Here in Nova Scotia, we still haven't had a whole lot of snow yet. We had one 10 to 15 centimeter snowstorm back in November, and besides that, we just had a couple centimeter dustings here and there, so we really haven't had very much snow yet. We're supposed to get a bit of snow this weekend, but still not a ton. So compared to the rest of the country and a lot of the United States, it looks like we fared out pretty well, and I'm not complaining because I love summer, so I'm not complaining about the lack of snow. And also, the car this year has still been good. The winter tires during the icy situations and a little bit of snow that we've had, so far so good. But let's get to the purpose of this video. In just 3 months, I'll have owned this car for 5 years. Compared to a lot of people that have owned their Crown Vics or used P71s and whatnot, that's going on a fairly decent amount of time. And I'll have driven Panthers now for a decade, which is crazy to think about. And I've loved every single one of them. The first one was a little iffy because I think the mileage was rolled back on it. To be honest, it had a lot of issues early on that normally don't come later until the Panther's life, like rear axles going at 80,000 miles, intake manifold. That Mercury Grand Marquis, if you guys remember it from like 10 years ago, it was a mess. Glad it was gone. Then the Silver Crown Vic was good, but succumbed to rust and whatnot. And this one has been a great car overall. Yeah, it's starting to get a little rusty and whatnot, but it's been a decent car. So just going to talk about my 5 years of ownership experience. So I remember when I bought it at the end of April in 2019. I was very excited because I'd always wanted a P71, and here it finally was. I finally got my hands on one. It's been a blast to drive it for the last nearly 5 years. No regrets at all in purchasing this car. It served me well, like many Panthers serve everybody else well. It's just been a great car all around. Yes, heavy on gas, but you know that driving one of these, it just comes with the territory. But I really haven't had a whole lot of complaints. When I first got it, had to do the rear brakes and oil cooler line and get all the fluids flushed. So all the fluids were fresh in this car, so that's been good, but it's been an excellent car. I bought it at 118,000 kilometers. Today we're sitting at 175,000 kilometers just about, and when I bought it, it had 118 idle hours, and now we're up to 264. So I idled it a little bit more than the cops have and the previous owner, but like I said, it just is what it is. maybe I'm bad for the fuel economy that way, but hey, whatever. We got the idle meter in there. It's fun to read once in a while. The car is a little bit dirty. As you guys know that have been following me for a long time, I stored this car the first couple winters I had it, but after that I just couldn't keep both cars running at the same time. So I just switched to the Crown Vic full time, both winter and summer vehicle. Really the problems I've had with the car, like I said, besides those two, which aren't really problems, those are more maintenance item. The wheel bearing hub seized, so I ended up having to get that. That was partly due to rust. Like I said, that's what you get for living in the salt belt, so that's not really the car's fault. Trying to think what else. I had to replace the headlights because they were getting pretty yellow and haze, but again, that was an optional thing that I did. Otherwise, required maintenance. I had to replace the power steering radiator. If you guys know that the P71s have like little, I think the regular civilian models have it too, but it's to cool the power steering and all that. It runs through the same system, so I had to replace that radiator. Wasn't too expensive of a fix. I think Canadian it was like $120. Now then I had to replace the rocker panels. They weren't replaced. I'm just going to be clear, they're patched with Mondo, unfortunately. That and the fenders had to get patched up to pass safety inspection most recently back at the end of May, early June. So that was a $1,200 venture. I mean, it's held up so far, but it is Mondo, so it's only a temporary fix, and if I want to get it done properly, we're talking $3,000. Just not worth it to me on a 17-year-old car. And the gas tank leaks at this point. That's a bit of an expensive fix as well. So yeah, I'm gonna be real, the car at this point probably needs about, between that's probably $700-800 to get it done at a shop properly. Gas tank straps as well, and then if you really want to replace the fender and rocker panels and whatnot, you can go ahead and do that. And I did replace the blend door actuator. Me and my friend got that done. Not a hard job at all. Do not get it done at a dealership, whatever you do. Pretty simple job. We had it done in an hour and a half with the two of us. Not that hard. Dealership's going to charge you 5 hours. do not get a blend door actuator done at the dealer. But still, even today, with the car being as old as it is, still get a lot of comments on the car, what decent shape it's in. Like I said, we do have more rust coming and whatnot. You got some rust down here at the edges of both of the bottom of the dog legs and a little bit on the bottom of the door down there. I've had the car undercoated every year since I've had it. As you can see, dirt's kind of covered it up now, but the floor panels and all that are in great shape. Like I said, it's just been a great car all around. The one day that it does disappear from my driveway, I will miss it, because all cars do meet their end. And then the other thing that I had to do, which again isn't the car's fault, I just had to put some silicone back around that plug hole. That's the only one that this car has, because it was leaking there during a rainstorm one day. But otherwise, guys, the car has been very reliable. Had to replace the battery. That's, again, regular maintenance item. It's been a great car. Really no complaints. Like I said, where it was in an accident, you can kind of see how the hood doesn't really line up entirely. It was in an accident before I bought it and after the police had bought it, or police had sold it. So whatever the guy did, he must hit the side of his garage or something. And this wheel is bent just ever so slightly, so it'll wear the inside of the tire over time. Not terribly, but it is just something to keep in mind. But like I said, overall the car's been great. Really, it's been a pleasure to drive it for 5 years. Gas, like I said, it's gotten a little expensive over the last couple of years of COVID and everything else afterwards. So when it shot up to $2.15 a liter last year, this thing was like $30 just to drive at 100 kilometers, or $40 just to drive at 60 miles. It was insane. So like I said, that's just something to keep in mind if you buy one. But if you're looking for a good daily driver that's going to start for you every time, hold up quite well, Crown Vic is still it. Obviously there's the other options if you want a more economical option like a Camry or something like that. But if you still love the old school ride, a Crown Vic is the way to go. I can't believe I've had this car almost 5 years. It's crazy. Like I said, just haven't had to do a whole lot to it. I mean, I've kept it washed, I kept it waxed, usually wax it 3-4 times a year just to keep up on it. Can't really do it in the winter time just because there's not a whole lot of point. The salt and everything, by the time you drive down the road, it's filthy again. I still wash it every couple weeks. Every week, every couple weeks in the winter time. I haven't been as diligent this year, I won't lie. Whoops. But I usually keep up on it pretty good. Like I said, well undercoated every single year. It's just been a great car to have, been a great car to drive. Not really a whole lot else to say. I mean, it is what it is. It's a Crown Vic. Turns on, it runs, it drives, it's nice driving, it's still smooth. They're not very quiet on the highways just because there's not a whole lot of sound deadening in them, even with fresh tires. But it's the plain Jane, simple, old reliable machine from the 90s that we all miss and used to enjoy, that just had the simple turn knobs and everything. It's been a great car to own. Like if you're someone just getting into the car market, maybe it's not a bad car to pick up one up if you can find one. But like I said, there's a lot of options out there now for economical vehicles, but in a Crown Vic, you do have to pay a pretty penny for it at this point if you want to get one in halfway decent shape. But like I said, at the end of the day, they're still good cars. If you have one that's in good shape, well, odds are it's probably going to be worth more in a few years. It's just the way the market's going. But yeah, I've truly enjoyed my experience for 5 years. And those of you that have also owned them for a few years, I imagine you guys have had the same experience. This one, knock on wood, has not had to have the intake manifold replaced yet. So hopefully by the time I do let it go, whenever that is, this year or maybe next year, hopefully it's still not an issue. Like I said, sometimes they last to 20 years, sometimes they last people 10 years. It's really luck of the draw. So far, it seems like I've got a good one. Hopefully it stays that way. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this other Crown Vic video. Hopefully winter time ends soon. We're almost at the end of January already, so it's going by quick.